Hello. Hello, fabulous people. It's Kathy with my mic here. Happy Saturday. Today is Saturday, and here's my third sip of coffee of the day. And we're going to do Frank Leslie today. If you're new here, my name is Kathy. I'm an artist. Hello. And every day I come on and we do a bio of an artist, and then we draw an homage or tribute piece based on their artwork, inspired by their artwork in some way, shape, or form. So welcome, and I hope you stick around. Today we're doing Frank Leslie. We can just start right in. I don't really have any notes at the top. I will say in migraine corner, it was really bad again last night when I was sleeping, but I'm okay this morning. So I don't know. I'm happy. I'm okay. Very glad that is okay this morning. But if you had asked me last night at like 3 a.m, I probably would have canceled today. But here we are. That's like, that never even happened. That's like a nothing. So let's check. So see if you guys can hear me. And then we can get right on into Frank Leslie. Into biographying, profiling, commenting on his life. I did not... I did a slight skim. I didn't like do the full-on Wikipedia read beforehand, which, you know, sometimes I wish I did do. Oh, there we go. Read beforehand. Okay, we're all here. We're here, and we're gonna have some more coffee, and then we're gonna start Frank Leslie. Let's go. Let's do this. Frank Leslie. So basically, I guess what I'm trying to say without saying it, so I'm just going to say it. I don't really know what we're in for. The reason I decided to do Frank is because he is a publisher, was a publisher of periodicals, family periodicals that were like really, really a big cultural thing in the 1880s. And I wanted to dive a little more into this. He's also an artist, an engraver. So also the fact that he was an artist who became a publisher is something that interests me, because it's always good to see artists create jobs for themselves that maybe weren't there beforehand. You know what I mean? Or go into something that helps to push their industry or their craft forward in a way that kind of like actors producing their own things, you know, or that type of thing. Or like Reese Witherspoon starting a book club, and that's how she finds projects, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. So I think that's interesting, and I wanted to you know, I like to learn more about people like that because it's interesting. We've had a few of those over the past couple months, but today we're doing Frank Leslie, so let's go. Frank Leslie was born on March 29th, 1821, and he died on January 10th, 1880. He died at age 58. He lived in Ipswich, England. He was an English-born, sorry. Sorry. He was an English-born American engraver, illustrator, and publisher of family periodicals. So, Frank, hi Frank. He was born on March 29th, 1821 in Ipswich, England, as Henry Carter, the son of Joseph Carter, the proprietor of a long-standing prosperous glove manufacturing firm. Wait, he was born as Henry Carter. That was his name. Henry Carter. He changed his name. Wow. Okay, we have to learn why he changed his name. Maybe they'll tell us. Okay, he was educated in Ipswich, and then he trained for commerce in London. As a boy, on his way to and from school, he passed this silversmith's shop, whose workers he took a detailed interest in, especially those who engraved designs and letters upon various articles of silver and gold. I love that. He was inspired. Kind of like how I was inspired by Hello Kitty. He took note of tools that were used and the manner of using them, and he acquired the necessary tools to do the work himself. At the age of 13, he did his first wood engraving of the coat of arms of his hometown, and we can see the picture of his first engraving right here. That's pretty good. That's impressive, Frank. At 17, let's just scroll up. There we go. At 17, Frank was sent to London. Remember, he's still Henry now, I think. He hasn't been renamed Frank yet. At 17, he was sent to London to learn more about the glove-making business in the extensive dry tools establishment of his uncle. But every moment that could be snatched from the dreary drudgery of the desk's dead wood was surreptitiously devoted to sketching, drawing, or engraving. He's an artist. His father, uncle, and relatives so discouraged his artistic aspirations that he was constrained to keep his work a secret from them. Wow. He contributed sketches to the Illustrated London News, signing them as Frank Leslie to ensure his anonymity. These were so cordially welcomed that he eventually gave up commerce and was made superintendent of engraving at the Illustrated London News. I wonder how old he was here. He made himself an expert and inventor in his new work. It was here that he learned the operation known as overlaying, the system of regulating light and shade effects in pictorial printing, a system which he was the first to introduce to the United States. Wow. Okay. So he brought an entire art system to the United States. He was first married in England, and he had 3 sons with his first wife, Harry, Alfred, and Scipio. Or Scipio. I'm not sure how to pronounce that, but it looks like Scorpio, but without the O-R and with an I instead. So Scipio. In 1857, he legally changed his name to Frank Leslie. Okay, so he was born in 1821. And so 1821, this is the way I do math. 31, 41, 51. 52, 54, 5, 6, 7. So at 36, he legally changed his name to Frank Leslie. 21, 31, 41, 50. Yeah. He and his wife separated in 1860. Okay. Just like a side note, when I was young, and I haven't done research on this until now, really. I mean, it's not really research. This is secondary research. I did not realize the lengths, the extent, the permeation of divorce, second families, spousal death, and then remarriage immediately. All this stuff. Why did I think that people didn't do anything until the 20th century? Nobody ever got divorced or whatever. Because when I was a kid, it was oh my God, divorce is everybody gets divorced now, Because I grew up in the early 70s. That was when I was a little kid, and my parents were divorced a year after I was born. But it was very much in the news all the time about divorce, people, getting divorced all the time now. There's more divorces than marriages that stay. This has been going on for hundreds of years. I mean, I didn't realize until now, like, guys, this has been going on forever. So yeah, just a little sidebar there. United States. Okay, this is when he came to the US. And this is so interesting that he brought an art form to the United States. In 1848, he came to the United States. In 1852, he worked for Gleason's Pictorial in Boston, Massachusetts. He came to Boston. I'm in Cambridge. I'm like a 10-minute walk from Boston, so I basically live in Boston. I live near the colleges in Cambridge. He discovered he could accelerate the engraving process significantly by dividing a drawing into many small blocks and distributing the work among many engravers. Whoa, risky. Risky unless you have your engravers, trained in a certain style, like really trained, like apprenticed, trained in a certain style. A job on a large format wood engraving, which might have taken a month for a single wood engraver to complete, could be completed in a day by 30 engravers. I do have questions. They're not going to get answered here. And that's okay. We're not here all day. This isn't like a 8-hour lecture on Frank. But I do have questions. This, as usual, like learning more stuff brings up more questions. In 1853, he arrived in New York City to engrave woodcuts for P.T. Barnum's short-lived Illustrated News. I love that. Oh my gosh. Wait, were they like circus things? I love the covers, by the way. Aren't they beautiful? I mean, that's partly like what drew me to do him, because I'm like, oh my gosh. First of all, like these periodicals were huge. Like, who knew? I didn't know. I did not. Hey, you only learn by learn. I mean, you only learn by learning new things, right? So I learned about these people, and then I learned about their lives, and then I learned that like these periodicals were like, hey, let's start a family periodical. Okay, so that's what people did. And that's how people got their news, So it's very interesting, but look at how beautiful they were. I just love looking at the covers, and the covers are really what sort of sparked me, because I just love typography, and I love lettering, and I love black and white, and I just love these covers. And speaking of which, and I will put a link when this is all over, I will put a link in the description to the Internet Archive. If you look up Frank Leslie there's a whole bunch of his covers, they're just fun to look at. And they're inspiring. And I think the art today is going to be based on, I haven't even decided what I'm doing yet, but I know that I want to do something approaching his covers, something maybe inspired by his covers. Maybe I'll copy a cover. Anyway, okay, let's move on. Moving right along. Excuse me. Okay. So they found out that, if he broke up the work, he could get one done by 30 engravers. Of course, look, that's still 30 people's time, right? So it's like one person, it still takes the time of many people. So, yeah, it sounds great, but it's still, manpower. Okay. Now I'm criticizing. Okay. In 1853, he arrived in New York City to engrave woodcuts for P.T. Barnum's short-lived Illustrated News. P.T. Barnum would be a cool guy to do a bio on, and to do art inspired by, just because the visuals, the circus visuals are just like whoosh, all over, right? Okay, who knew his name was Phineas? Wow, okay. P.T. Barnum's short-lived Illustrated News. After its failure, he began publishing the first of his many illustrated journalistic ventures, Frank Leslie's Ladies' Gazette of Fashion and Fancy Needlework. Well, he knows what side his bread is buttered on, because he knows who buys magazines. The ladies. with good woodcuts by Leslie and Hooper, a partnership which dissolved in 1854. So he began publishing with good woodcuts by Leslie and Hooper, who were a woodcut company. I guess he bought his woodcuts from them to engrave in 1854. So if that was 1821, so he was 33 around now, 33, 1854. The New York Journal soon followed with Frank Leslie's illustrated newspaper in 1855 called Leslie's Weekly, the Boys and Girls Weekly, the Budget of Fun, and many others. Frank Leslie's illustrated newspaper, which included news as well as fiction, survived until 1922. Okay, so he was like the Condé Nast of the, 1800s, right? Illustrations made by Leslie and his artists on the battlefield during the American Civil War are well regarded for their historical value. Are well regarded for their historical value. That's better. He was commissioner to the Paris exhibition of 1867 and received a prize there for his artistic services. Cool. So that was 1867, 1821. So he was born in 1821. See, I keep having to do the math. Okay, so he was 46 when he received the prize for his artistic services by Paris exhibition of 1867. I'm going to just go over here and see what this is. The Exposition Universelle of 1867, better known in English as the 1867 Paris Exposition, was a World's Fair held in Paris, France, from April 1 to November 3rd, 1867. It was the second of 10 major expositions held in the city between 1855 and 1937. A number of nations were represented at the fair. Okay, I need to learn more about this. Sorry, real quick. Because this is interesting. It was the second of 10 major expositions held in the city between 1855 and 1937. A number of nations were represented at the fair. Following a decree of Emperor Napoleon III, the exposition was prepared as early as 1864 in the midst of the renovation of Paris. Okay. Conception. No. Exhibits. That's what we want. Is it art? What is it? Is it commerce? There were 50,226 exhibitors, of whom 15,055 were from France and its colonies, 6,176 from Great Britain and Ireland, 703 from the US, and a small contingent from Canada. Okay, all right. I'm just skimming. I just want to... Okay, Japan. Vincent van Gogh and other artists of the post-impressionism movement of the late 19th century were part of the European art craze inspired by the display scene here, and wrote often of the Japanese woodcut prints. Okay, see, there we go. We're circling back to Van Gogh, Toulouse-Lautrec, Gauguin, that whole lot that was in Paris in the late 1800s, and how they were inspired by Japanese woodcut. Okay, we're totally getting off track here, so I'm going to go back. And now we're going to talk about the second wife. Yes! Let's talk about the second wife. Leslie met his second wife, then named Miriam Foline Squire, when her husband, Ephraim Squire, the editor of Leslie's Ladies' Magazine, fell ill. Okay. Leslie met his second wife. I'm just repeating because I'm absorbing here. He met her when her husband fell ill. Miriam volunteered to fill in for Ephraim, with Ephraim still receiving the salary. So Ephraim was the editor of Leslie's magazine, his Ladies' Magazine. He got sick. Miriam's like, I'll do the job. Just keep paying my husband. Ultimately, Miriam took on the position permanently. In 1873, she and Ephraim divorced. So he didn't die. They got divorced in 1873. And I guess she fell in love with her boss. So, and he fell in love with her. So let's see, 1821. Let's do the math again. 51, 41, 51, 61, 70. So he was 52. He was 52. Our man Leslie was 52 when Miriam and Ephraim divorced. And shortly thereafter, she and Leslie were married. It was his second marriage and her third. I mean, right? That's a lot. I mean, how many people do you know that have had 3 marriages? Nothing against it. I'm just absorbing how common it was. You know, it was common. All common. Okay. It was his second marriage and her third. Their summer home, Interlaken, which is so cool because everybody names their homes, right? Was in Saratoga Springs, New York, where they entertained many notables. In 1877, they undertook a lavish train trip from New York to San Francisco, California, in the company of many friends. Wow. That's kind of a fun swing in time. Lavish train trip from New York to San Francisco. That's a long ride. I wonder how long that took. Miriam Leslie wrote her book, From Gotham to the Golden Gate, telling the story of this trip. That's another thing. I think people wrote like about trips. They wrote about like my travels, blah, 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 you know, here and there. And they wrote about that. We ran into that a bunch of times over the past month. The expense of this trip, and last month too, the expense of this trip and a business depression left Leslie's business badly in debt. Okay, so did he pay for everybody to take the train trip? Did he rent the train? Did he rent the train in the company of many friends? Was this like this is like, I'm highfalutin. I'm like on my high horse. I'm a wealthy guy. I'm, you know, like the Bezos kind of thing. And then I'm gonna like rent out a town and have my wedding there. That's kind of what I'm reading from this. That kind of thing. The expense of this trip and a business depression. Let's just roll over business depression and see what they say. An economic depression is a period of carried long-term economic downturn that is the result of lowered economic activity in one or more major national economies. It is often understood in economics that an economic crisis and the following recession that may be termed an economic... Okay, we know what that is. I just like to see what Wikipedia says. Frank Leslie accepted his last illustration by Georgina A. Davis, in parentheses. Let's roll over her because I want to see who she is. Okay, she's a click-through, so let's just click through. She was an American illustrator, painter, and engraver, and why isn't she on my list? She was a staff artist for Frank Leslie's illustrated newspaper, Why Didn't I Do Her?, which features hundreds of other illustrations, which featured hundreds of her illustrations, excuse me. At the time, she was the only female staff artist working for a major American newspaper. She's going to be my fill-in if I have to cancel, not cancel, if I have to switch out one of my artists for some reason. Let's fix my bags. Okay. Little is known of Davis's life despite the prominence of her work. She would be cool to look into. Actually, look at this. There's like almost nothing here. So, and they're showing the back of her head for her biopic. So that should tell you a lot, right? That tells me a lot. Okay. Let's see. Frank Leslie accepted his last illustration by Georgina A. Davis in January 1880 and died the same month. Whoa! The debts amounted to $300,000 and his will was contested. So he died in debt And he died in 1880 and 1821. So he wasn't old. He was like 58. Was he 58? Yes. And I think I said that earlier, right? But you know how these things go in. They go in and out when I'm reading and otherwise in life. But, you know. Okay. Frank Leslie accepted his last will. I already read that 5 times. Okay. So his will was contested. Miriam Leslie took the business in hand and put it on a paying basis, even going so far as to have her name legally changed to... Whoa! Even going so far as to have her name legally changed to Frank Leslie in June 1881. She was a notable feminist and author in her own right. Both his and her remains are interred at Woodlawn Cemetery in the Bronx, New York City. Whoa, she changed her name just to save... Okay, we don't have information. But he had 3 children. So, like, what about his kids? You know? Like, why did he not leave anything to his children? Okay, I'm reading the references here. Mrs. Frank Leslie, a woman of the century, 1470 biographical sketches accompanied by portraits in the lead. Okay, that's just a book. Wait, let's see. If I click through, what happens? What do we get? Okay, hold on. Mrs. Frank. Where are you, Mrs. Frank Leslie? There you are. Oh, okay. All right, miss. Let's look. Let's check her out. She's all the way in the corner over here. Leslie, Mrs. Frank, businesswoman and publisher. Born in New Orleans, Louisiana, 1851. Her maiden name was Miriam Florence Folin, and she is a French Creole. All right. There we go. All right. Wow. Will you look at that corset? Seriously. Wow. Yikes. I mean, great outfit. But yikes on the corset. She was reared in opulence and received a broad education, including all the accomplishments, with many solid and useful attainments. That's a great way of saying a whole lot of nothing, right? She was reared in opulence, okay, and received a broad education, including all the accomplishments, with many solid and useful attainments. That's like lawyer speak? She wrote much in youth and was already known in the world of letters when she became the wife of Frank Leslie, the New York publisher. No mention of her first husband. Mr. Leslie was an Englishman. His name was Henry Carter. He was born 29th March 1821 in Ipswich, England, and died 10 January 1880 in New York, New York. The name Frank Leslie was a pen name he used. Oh, sorry guys. In sketches published by him in the London Illustrated News. In 1848, he came to the United States, assumed the name Frank Leslie by a legislative act, and engaged in literature and publication. Miss Folin went to Cincinnati during the Civil War and finally to New York City. She was engaged in literary work there. One of the editors of Leslie's Ladies magazine was sick and in poverty, and Mrs. Folin volunteered to do her work for... Whoa. Huge lie here, guys. Huge lie. We just caught them in a huge lie. One of the editors of Leslie's Ladies magazine was sick and in poverty, and Mrs. Folin volunteered to do her work for her. Not his, not her husband's. Do her work for her and give her the salary. The invalid died, and Miss Folin was induced to retain the position. That's not what Wikipedia told me. In a short time, she became the wife of Mr. Leslie, and their life was an ideally happy one. Her experience and talents enabled her to assist him greatly. Sorry guys. In the management of the many art publications of his house, and she learned all the details of the great business concern, of which she is now the head. I'm fascinated. Let's keep reading. During their married life, Mr. and Mrs. Leslie made their summer home in the Interlaken Villa, Saratoga Springs, New York. And there they entertained Emperor Dom Pedro of Brazil and the Empress. Many other notable... I'm just scrolling in for you. Sorry. Okay, here we go. Many other notable people were their guests. Ooh, let's fix the bangs again. They're getting all... There we go. I'm using my camera as a mirror. Let's see. Mr. and Mrs. Many other notable people were their guests, and in New York City, Mrs. Leslie was, as she still is, one of the leaders of society. In 1877, the panic embarrassed Mr. Leslie, and he was compelled to make the assignment. I don't know what that means. That's 1800 speak. Arrangements were made to pay off all claims and... Okay. The panic embarrassed Mr. Okay. That's shorthand for he lost a bunch of money or he got in debt. The panic embarrassed Mr. Leslie, and he was compelled to make an assignment. Arrangements were made to pay off all claims in 3 years. A tumor developed in a vital part, and he knew that his fate was sealed. Ooh! He said to his wife, "Go to my office, sit in my place, and do my work until my debts are paid." She undertook the task without hesitation, and she accomplished it with ease. Her husband's will was contested, and the debts amounted to $300,000, but she took hold of affairs and brought success out of what seemed chaos. She adopted the name Frank Leslie in June 1881 by legal process. She is now sole owner and manager of the great publishing house. One of her published volumes is From Gotham to the Golden Gate, published in 1877. She has spent her summers in Europe for many years. In 1890, she became the wife in New York City of William C. Kingsbury Wilde, an English gentleman whom she met in London. Her hand had been sought by a number of titled men in Europe, but her choice went with her heart to Mr. Wilde. In European society, she shone brilliantly. Her command of French, Spanish, and Italian enabled her to enter the most cultured circles, and her personal and intellectual graces made her a center of attraction wherever she went. Mrs. Leslie is one of the most successful businesswomen of the country. Her home is in New York City, and she is in full control of the business she has built up to so remarkable a success. All right, what book is this? Women of Century... Hold on. Let's go back. I'm going to go back to the beginning of this book because that was fascinating. And I really did enjoy that a lot. Let's go back. Come on, pages. This is wild, huh? Women of the Century. Leading American women in all walks of life. This is so interesting. Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. We found something new to like dig into. All right. This is like, there's like 2 or 3 new things every day I want to dig into. Let's look at some of the Frank's art. And now I'm like, let's just look at Frank's art. I'm just kidding. This is amazing. Let's save this. And I'm going to go to... let's go to the Internet Archive one because they had more covers that I saw of the magazine. And no guys, hold on. Okay, let's go Frank Leslie. Okay, let's see what we got here. Frank Leslie's illustrated. Okay, let's do this. And then hold on. I'm going to just save this real quick. And then I'm going to go to Wikimedia Commons real quick. because I think they might. I want to see who has a better collection for us to look at. I went to Wikipedia Commons before I came on today, and I saw like a lot of... I saw some of his artwork, like his like war artwork, and here we'll see. I'm not super interested in... I'm more interested in like the covers of his magazines because they're wild, right? I mean, I love looking at the lettering and of just the design and how they added the artwork in. Okay, there's his grave. Wood engraving showing Frank Leslie's office just after his death, with his desk, etc., wreathed and draped in black. Okay. I like all those lines. That's a portrait wood engraving of Frank Leslie. And here's his war maps. Okay. Scroll. More maps. Did he do all these maps? He published them. I don't think he drew them. I just love to look at these ads. Look at this. Every lady desires to be considered handsome. The most important adjunct to beauty is a clear, smooth, soft, and beautiful skin. With this essential, a lady appears handsome, even if her features are not perfect. Ladies afflicted with tan, freckles, rough, or discolored skin should lose no time in procuring and applying LAIRD'S Bloom of Youth. It will immediately obliterate all such imperfections and is entirely harmless. It's harmless. It has been chemically analyzed by the Board of Health of New York City and pronounced entirely free from any material injurious to the health or skin. Over 2 million ladies... sorry, I'm just really getting into this. Over 2 million ladies have used this delightful toilet preparation, and in every instance it has given entire satisfaction. Ladies, if you desire to be beautiful, give LAIRD'S Bloom of Youth a trial and be convinced of its wonderful efficacy. Okay. I really love that ad. And then we have this little picture here. I was dreadfully afraid that horrid fever would ruin my complexion for life, but LAIRD'S Bloom of Youth has settled that question with a lovely success. Fabulous. So fabulous. All right, these are so fun to look at. Group of Ellsworth, Chicago Zouave cadets. And this was this engraved by Frank? See, it's hard to tell, okay? Because they're not like, I mean, I go to Frank Leslie, this is the thing now. I go to Frank Leslie on Wikimedia, and perhaps he has copyrights to, or had copyrights to other people's work. So I can't tell right off the bat. Did he do it, or is this somebody else's artwork? And I don't think I'm going to know, you know? I don't think they're going to tell you. Let's just look at what this headline says. Deadly attack of a wolf on a man. There's a common belief that only wild beasts of the largest and savagest kind will voluntarily attack man, except when they are in large droves. There was, however, in 1859, an instance in which a wolf attacked a farmer who was chopping wood near Lexington, Sanilac County, Michigan, and with such ferocity that despite his utmost exertions, he was overmastered by the furious animal. It appears that early one morning the unfortunate settler was engaged in lopping some branches at a short distance from his cottage when a wolf started from a thicket, and before the farmer could defend himself, grasped his throat with such deadly power that he dropped his axe. His cries brought his wife to the door of the cottage, seeing the danger of her husband. The noble woman, with all that scorn of danger which distinguishes her sex when those she loves are in danger, ran to the spot, and seizing the axe, struck the wolf so well aimed a blow that it compelled him to release the man. Nothing daunted, the brave woman faced the furious beast with such coolness and courage that after a short struggle, the wolf lay dead at her feet. The woman then turned to her husband and vainly endeavored to stop the blood which gushed from his throat. It was all in vain, for the unhappy man breathed his last in her arms. On examination, it was found that the fangs of the monster had as completely severed his windpipe as though the throat had been cut with a razor. Well, that's a story, and that's a photo, or an engraving, rather. Look at that. What a story. I have to say, I kind of pictured that wolf to be bigger. Okay, let's draw. I'm going to pick out a piece. I'll be here all day if we pick it out together. If I pick it out on screen with you guys, I'll just be like, la 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 la, la 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 la. This is gonna take me all day. So I don't want to do that because that's what will happen. And I'll be here all day. So I'm going to take a minute. I'm going to set up my drawing and I'm going to be back in probably like 4 minutes on my drawing table. And I will see you there. Hey, I'm back. Can you hear me? I'm going to check my stream and make sure that you can see me and hear me and all that jazz. Hold on one second. One momento. All right, let's do this. We got this. We got this. All right. Oh, let's do and this. You can hear me. Megan, if you're here, I don't know, but it's great to see you today. I think you're here. If you're still here. I can't tell. But that's okay. There. Now I can keep an eye on the chat. Keep an eye on the chat while I work. Okay. Let's see here. Oops. Getting my act together. Today's a great day. And we're going to do this magazine cover. We're going to do Frank Leslie's. I really like this one because I love the hand-done text. Like, I love it. It's not even. It's not spaced right. Like, not right. Not right. It's Space Perfect. I love it. Oh, and this paper that I'm using today. So I've been using this one. Oh, whoopsies, whoopsies. I dropped this. Isn't this cute? Check this out. Isn't that cute? I got that from a local artist. I got this from a local artist at a art market. I bought a couple of them because they're so cute. And they're just cute to dress up my space with. Okay. So I was going to use this, of course, because I'm using pen and ink, because I'm super excited about doing some pen and ink. You know, it just... Oh, I dropped it again. It just doesn't really get old. I think it's because I'm an ink freak, but not everybody might not feel that way. But I love it. I love ink. So let's go ink. And this is the perfect art to just go ink on, right? But I had this paper from, remember Inktober? Or if you don't remember Inktober, I did Inktober, and I used this Strathmore Vision mixed media, which I really like, and I wanted to buy another one, but I couldn't find it at my local Blick, so I'm gonna have to venture out and get it somewhere else. But I haven't had a chance to, and that's whatever. Who cares? There's plenty of notebooks to get, or plenty of sketchbooks to get. I don't have to get that one. But I had some extra gold ink that I had spilled one day a couple months ago, and I covered a couple of pages in my book. Right? This was early on too. This was early. And one of them I did this. And this was the first day of Inktober that I took off, that I privated it because sadly I learned that the author had beliefs that I do not stand for. So I removed it, but I really did like the artwork. So, you know, that's a bummer, but that's okay. You know, what are you going to do? You got to make decisions sometimes, right? So, what am I doing here? I'm trying to find that page. I'm trying to find the gold. So I covered up 2 pages with gold, with just this gold ink that I spilled. And where is it? Where is it? I just had it. Where'd it go? I had this, so I'm going to use, long story short. Okay, here it is, right? It's right here, isn't it? Over here. Long story short is I'm going to use the gold page today. I'm going to use the page that is just gold, covered in gold ink, because, like, this is the perfect time to do it. I knew there would be a day. I knew there was going to be there it is. I knew there would be a day that this would be like, oh, this is the perfect day to do this. And that's today. So, like, I love serendipity. I love a little intuitive moment. And we have it today. So, we're going to do this Frank Leslie's illustrated look at the newspaper lettering. Newspaper. It's like so fancy. I love it. This is like before, maybe this came out, I don't know when this came out in terms of when he started the newspaper. I want to find out, because here's the thing. And this is just, oh, can you hear the trash truck? I apologize. The trash truck is like super, super loud. Right on. Oh, what was that? Oh, okay. That's all right. My Neocolors just dropped, but that's okay. My trash truck. I'm gonna turn the volume off for just a minute because the trash truck is making so much noise. So while I search, I want to check the dates. This Frank Leslie's Illustrated newspaper is volume 9, 1860. I want to look on my phone and see, like, when he published this in relation to his publishing career, because the style of lettering on this one is very naive in terms of, like, readability. I have nothing wrong. I have no problem with, you know, decorative, obviously. I love decorative lettering. I just find that for a newspaper, this lettering is extremely not readable, which is just kind of sweet to me. It's just kind of sweet to me. But all right, I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I'm gonna just mute for a second. Okay. The trash truck left, and I found out when he started. So he started publishing on December 15th, 1855. And it was the first successful pictorial newspaper in the United States. What? It was the first successful pictorial newspaper in the United States. That's amazing. Okay. Was this the first cover? Front cover. No, it couldn't. Was this the first cover? Ooh, front cover. Oh no, volume 51. Okay, I was gonna say that's too readable. I'm sure somebody said, Frank, I really love your cover, but you got to do something about the way that you wrote newspaper on it for the one that we're doing today, because it's highly decorative and very pretty. But you really have to, you know, what's rule number 1 of lettering? Make it readable. Make it readable. Because otherwise, it's real pretty, but you can't read it. Yeah, let's go back to our YouTube now. Megan had to step away briefly. Have you chose any art yet? I did. We're doing this cover. This Frank Leslie's Illustrated Newspaper cover. And I wanted to do it because, well, there's a couple reasons. But, I mean, first of all, any of the artwork, just like other kinds of artwork that he's done, for me, I'm just not into drawing war scenes, you know? I mean, I'm not even into drawing a monument, but I will. I'm going to do it. I'm going to draw a monument for the sake of doing this cover, but I just love the hand-done lettering. And I was just talking a couple minutes ago about how naive it is, because I had to look up when he started doing his newspaper, because this is volume 9, 1860 for this cover. And he started publishing, I found out. I know I just read his bio, but I did not retain the date of when he started publishing. He started publishing in 1855 December. So by the time this came out, and I don't have a month or a day on this, but it's volume 9, 1860, and he started in December 1855, and I was thinking it had to be an early one, because in his publishing career, because look at the way he wrote newspaper. Like rules of engagement, right? For design, for lettering. Like, what's rule number 1, right? It has to be readable. You know, not for everything, but for newspaper, yeah. So that's the deal. I think I'm gonna do a sketch-ish. I have this pen. Does it work? Is there any ink in here? Yeah, there's a little. Okay. I have this pen, metallic marker, American Crafts. Maybe I'll sketch with this. This is from Michael's. I just need to mark out, because I actually find curved text like this to be challenging to space correctly, you know? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, so we have 11 words. So if we do like here and here, and then we do here, mark here, so we know where the center is, and the center is the T. So I'm just marking out my territory here because R, A, T, E, D, T, E, D. Just, you know, it doesn't have to be, I'm not looking for perfection here. I'm just looking for, something that works the way that it should kind of work. This pen is, I think, too dark to actually do a sketch with, but the cool thing about it is on this gold paper, it's actually not that dark. I think I might have a gold one too. Oh, I think I see it. Is it gold? Okay, is this the same? No, this is gold. Okay, let's see. Can I even see? Ooh. I can barely see this one. Okay, well, let's see. Well, let's see what we can see here. I'm just gonna go in here like this. I may be biting off more than I can chew today, but you know, that's okay. Kind of feels like every day I do that in some way, but that's all right. We're gonna go for it. Illustrated. How did I do this without even turning my page? What's going on here? Normally I would need to like turn things. Illustrated. I like this method. So I'm using the dots with the, this is the like bronzy one, and I'll use this for dots. And then with my dried out gold one that is barely visible, I can just sort of, you know, draw the letters, and then I will go over it with ink, and you're not even going to see. You will not even see these little, you'll barely even see the sketches when I do that. So this is actually really good. This is working out. Okay. Maybe we'll just do the title, because I don't know that I need to do the monument thing, honestly. And this is really going to give me plenty to chew on here. So, you know, I could be here a really long time if I'm doing the entire cover. It's very ornate, but I'm not going that ornate with it. I'm working on my spacing out here. E like that. I wonder if you guys can see this. Anyway, I'm going to just keep going, okay? So the base of this paper, this is a sketchbook. It's the Vision Mixed Media Sketchbook, Strathmore. Just to let you know your materials, because materials are everything, right? I mean, like how things interact together and how they don't, and what am I doing? So this is how I'm sketching on top of a base of this gold ink. I got the Daler-Rowney FW. This is like I think it's like an acrylic ink style ink. And the paper is coated with this. So how do you sketch on top of this? Well, I don't know, but I'm just trying stuff. So I grabbed a couple of these pens. These are super, super old. They're dried out and all gunky. Actually, this one's not really dried out because it's actually pretty good. But because you can see I could put the dots down. I could put a dot here and a dot. See, you see it. Shows up. So I'm just sort of using this bronzy one to mark my territory. And then I'm going in with my dried out gold one that has a teeny bit of like, it's just a little bit juicy. There's one of the ways to use a dried out pen, right? Because I don't like to throw pens away if there's still a use for them, you know? And okay, this has like a swoop. And then this has like a swoop here. And P and E are the same height, so, and they have a very similar curve. So I can touch that up later. I got A a little too far away from P, but gosh, this is very ornate. This lettering is, this lettering is actually deceptively ornate because it's like more ornate than you think it is. He must have really loved detail. I bet this guy, I mean, he did engraving, and that's detailed. That's some detailed stuff. It's just fun to like redraw this kind of stuff and to get into the vibe of like, what were they doing? You know, like, how did they do this? Like, what's it really like to draw something like this? You know, that's kind of a fun thing to force yourself to do, honestly. Let's see here. Our P is like this. See how dried out this gold pen is? It's really dried out. And then we have our swoop. This is our swoop. This is our P, the P loop. And then it's really big over here. It's like twice the size of this one. I think I made the front loop a little big. Oh, hold on. Okay. So we have this loop here. Oh gosh, this is like complicated for sure. Then we get, if I'm going by his drawing, and I am. Okay, so my spacing is off, but that's all right. We're just gonna go with it because it is what it is, and I'm working in ink, and I'm not gonna sweat this, really. So the P, top of the P and the top of the N are about the same. They are about the same height. So this is the top of the P, this is the top of the N. Oh my gosh, things got quiet, huh? Okay, our loops are about the same too. Yeah, definitely do not hold me to the actual... Do not hold me to the actual spacing here, because my spacing is definitely not the way it is in the picture. I'm getting it as good as I can, but it's definitely not. It is not the same. Because, you know, we have a monument in the center too. Don't forget the monument. I am going to forget the monument because I'm not drawing the monument. I have decided to take creative license and I am not drawing the monument. I'm doing the lettering. I'm doing Frank Leslie's, that wacky, that wacky lettering on the top. I love Frank Leslie's. Looks like comic book art, which is great. I love. And we're doing the newspaper, illustrated newspaper. And then perhaps we'll take more creative license and do something else with the volume 9 and then the date. I think I want to add that in too. So we'll just do like a little text treatment. We'll do a little text treatment. Did you hear my stomach rumble? My stomach is grumbling. I need to eat some food. There's time to eat food later. Okay, I'm just gonna have just enough space to write this, to do this. I'm gonna have just enough. I'm trying to wrap my head around how he did this. Like, how did he do this in terms of, like, technically? Like, because... Oh, thank you, Megan. Megan said, I love watching your lettering process. Thank you. I'm like just trying to get this down here. What's sort of turning my head inside out is okay, this was in the 1800s. This is like mid 1800s. No, wait, 1860. Okay, that still counts as mid 1800s. He did this engraving. No computer. No computer. No DPI, you know? No 300 DPI. No, I'm gonna size this down for reproduction or up or whatever. Like nothing. No, none of that. So how, because do I sound confused? Because the word newspaper, ooh, I didn't even get that even. Maybe we can correct that in post. I'm just kidding. Maybe we can correct it. I just wanted to say in post because I thought that was funny. Maybe we can correct it when I do the ink. When I do the ink. I'm gonna grab a paper towel because not for art reasons, but for nose reasons. There we go. Okay, I need to coffee sip. I think I'm gonna have to do this flat and stand when I do my ink. And Megan says, makes you wonder what kind of tricks did he use? without the technology aid. I know. Yes, exactly. We're of the same. We're thinking the same way. I'm thinking, what did he engrave with? Like a piece of wire? Because those lines. And how did they get the ink in them? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure if you look at... Okay, you guys can't see my iPad, sorry. If you look at... Hold on, let me grab it. Let me just grab it real quick. And I don't have a high res here. It's not like high res poster or anything, but if you... Okay, go away. Go away. If... Oh, hold on a second. It sounds like my phone turned up the volume accidentally. Okay. Sorry, guys. Sorry. Okay. Doesn't want to stay still. Okay. So, like, I know that they do, for some of these, that it's super, super fine. But, I don't know. I'm just perplexed a little bit. I wonder if he did this cover. And then he's like, oh, right. You know, like, oops, I'm not going to make that mistake again. Because it's, the word newspaper is not popping, you know? I mean, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. But it's almost like, Frank, you did a whole lot of... I know, I don't know what engraving would entail either, Megan. I mean, it's like, I wonder about the plates. I wonder about like putting the ink on the plates and then like making sure that all the, like those little teeny little hairlines that they did got ink in them, and then on the press, like how does that work? And I don't know. It's very wild, but I would have to really do a deep dive on that. I'm gonna do his name now with this gold. I think this is the gold pen. You're barely gonna be able to see it, and I apologize for that. I just need to kind of I need to get it down a little bit, you know? I need to get it down on the paper here. Maybe you can see it better than I thought you could, but you know, gold doesn't really show up very good on it. But, you know, it just sort of matched the... It just sort of matched the cover today for me. It's like, okay, yeah, let's do it. Yeah, I think my tools today need leave something to be desired, because I'm working with like a dead pen. And I'm working with another pen that doesn't really... I'm like using the ink of one pen to give me my sketch marks, which is kind of weird. Why? Why would I do that? I do like the L. I like the little... I like that little L curvy thing on the top there. Megan, you had me Googling how to be an apprentice yesterday when I got off. I was curious. How does one do it? And I discovered how one does it. I mean, I discovered, I guess, one way. Or two ways. I discovered that there is school you can go to. Tattoo school. But that the apprenticeship way is the way that most people do it, or maybe the most acceptable way, or the most popular way, or like the way it's been done. And then also that you apprentice for 1 to 3 years. One to 3 years, and then that what I read, and I don't know if this is true or not, I would think that this just depends on all the factors, like where you're apprenticing, what their what their setup is for apprenticeship. But the Google said that you don't get paid for it. I don't know that that's true. And then that it cost like between, they said what the cost was. And then I mean, 1 to 3 years, that's not bad. And then that when you start, you know, doing your own tattooing, like as a professional non-apprentice tattooer, I don't know if this is true for all, but this is just what I learned from Google, that it sounds to me similar to how hairstylists and hair designers can like rent a chair in a salon, kind of the same type of a setup. So that was all really intriguing to me because I never looked into it before, but I find it fascinating, as you know. I'm super fascinated by it. And intrigued. And curious. We got it going with ink. I'm just laying down my groundwork here. Really want to go in with ink to this quickly. I really want to start inking this. Ball 9. Ball 9. O. And then V. V, it's a big V. So we're going to do that. And we're going to hope for the best. We're going to hope for the best. I think part of my feelings about this today is I really didn't. I would like to have something that actually works instead of this pen that doesn't. But you know, for flying by the seat of my pants, that's not too bad. I didn't even do I didn't do the illustrated words yet. But we're just here's what we got. Here's what we got. We have a Pentel brush pen. We got a Posca black that has a nice sharp little tip on it. I like this tip. That's a good one. And assorted other brush pens and things, but we'll see what we end up using mostly. I don't know. We're just going in here. We're just gonna go in. Where do I want to start? I think I'm gonna start here because why did I pick this lettering? This is like so ornate. I'm doing it. I'm turning my paper. Yes. I want it to look like a D. Like it's supposed to look like a D. I would probably have better luck with this if I chose a different pen, but I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that today. I'm going to use this pen, and we're just going to do it with this pen. Because I like a challenge, and I like to explore more of what I can do with a brush pen. I'm a glutton for punishment. Okay, already I'm seeing an issue. This is my baseline. This little bloppy off the D is my baseline. And I have a little bloppy off the E here, and that's another baseline, so this needs to be higher. Okay, that's better. That is better. It's okay that it's not perfection. I don't care. It's better. I'm curious to find out more about. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to stick my face like 2 inches from this. Hold on. Must remove the glasses. Must get closer. I'll put the mic closer too. All right, can I do this without getting in your way of seeing this? I don't know. I don't know. And don't worry about the fact that I got a line in between, like where it's supposed to be gold. I'm gonna fix that later, no problem. We can fix that. We can fix that later. Gotta zoom in here. Oh, I wish that was high res. It's so challenging. I gotta wear my glasses to look at the reference. Okay. Okay. So we got a little rainbow head here, and then we have a little bloop here, a little bloop there, and then we have the curly Q situation here. Okay. I think it's thicker here though. Oh, gotta be careful. Oh, God. Why did I do this to myself? Oh, shit. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean to swear on the stream. Not intentional. I'm going to fix that later. I made a little boo-boo. Made a little boo-boo. All right. Into our T. Okay, our T starts with a tip point like that. Oh, no. Okay, hold on. Just a minute. Just a memento. We're going to be here all day. No, I hope not. Not all day. Not all day. We're going to be here for a little while, though. This is a lot. This is a lot. Oh my gosh. I really picked a winner today, huh? Okay. Picked a winner. I can't see the chat until my phone wakes up. I just ran out of juice, so I'm going to look at my phone. You know what I'm talking about. The phone that I look at chat on. My other phone. Okay, yes, I am running into issues with my brush pen. And I'm sticking it out. I'm sticking it out because I want to get better at my brush pen. I'm sticking it out. I want to get better at my brush pen. And really the only way to do that is to use it in ways that, or not in ways, but use it in ways maybe that make me want to grab something else, or in ways that I don't think it's best used. Maybe is that being a glutton for punishment? Maybe, like, I'm trying to articulate I'm working on like articulating like how I like to use brush pen, like my methods and stuff, because I'm trying to think in terms of teaching it. And I'm thinking, excuse the bell that's ringing, and I'm thinking, I'm just trying to push my skills a little bit here. Just trying to push myself. To use it in ways that I know are like, maybe I wouldn't like use it for certain things that I'm using it for here. Maybe I would grab something else. But I think that's how you push yourself out of your comfort zone. That's how you get new skills. Oops. Okay. All right. Let's do that. And let's look at our sizing here. Okay, that T looks a little short. All right, we're getting there. We're going in with the A. We're going in on the A now. I'm just trying to get my baseline here. This lettering is just so ornate and it's so small. Okay, and then here's our anyone need a movie recommendation? I have one. I have one for you. Have one. And it's actually kind of fitting. for, whoops, it's actually, oh God, I gotta turn my paper. I'm making a warped A. It's a bit fitting for our topic here, for commercial illustrators of the 19th century, kind of. I saw The Ugly Stepsister last night, and I really liked it a lot. It's a Cinderella tale, and it's sneaky. It's sort of grim fairy tale-ish in the overall, you know, like it's not like a smoothed over, you know, it's not like, it's a Cinderella story with teeth, let's just say. It's really good. I really liked it a lot. I will say it reminded me a little bit of, okay, I'm going to work while I talk, okay? Oh, okay, now I can look at the chat. It reminded me of The Substance. And I don't know which one was made first, actually. It may have been made before The Substance, I'm not sure. But it did remind me of The Substance. Megan said you can do it. Thanks, Megan. Thank you. I think, what are you talking about? Are you talking about what I think you're talking about? The thing that I've been Googling? I literally did Google that. And I was like, you know, and I literally did have a chat with Matt about it a little bit. Because I was like, you know, this is something I've always kind of wanted to do. Somewhere in my mind. But I just never have. You know? There's like a little part of me that really wants to do it. And this isn't like, again, for over 30 years. You know what I mean? So, you know, one of those things that you kind of talk yourself out of in a weird way. Or that you're doing other things, so you're not gonna do it. But, you know, one of those things that you just sort of, you're like, I really have an urge to do that. Okay, this R is interesting because it doesn't have a little ball on the end of the tail here. It's just a little pointy, curvy, pointy tail. Oh, this is hard with my glasses on. So, you know, most people who wear glasses, okay, first of all, I've been wearing glasses since I was 17 years old. So I didn't like start wearing them at 50 or anything. I just started wearing multiple pairs at 50. Earlier than that, actually. Okay. So my eyes, I have good, like, super close vision when I need to look at detail. I don't be putting on readers. I be taking my glasses off. So that's my deal. I think this needs to be a little, I think this part should have been, if we're really getting granular here, this bar needed to be a little thicker, which I can do. Oops, let's just do it now. And then we're just going to sacrifice the little curlicue here. And maybe I'll go in with later with some gold ink to remedy that part. Megan, thanks for the vote of confidence. I appreciate it. I want to pick your brain. I want to pick your brain. Okay, my main thing right now is my lovely brush pen really wants to like bleed and into, you know, the page. And this is what happens when you use ink this way on paper fibers that are not like pressed out and probably primed like that pen and ink paper that I've been using, that I have been talking about for over a month now. So I think that pen and ink paper is very like, I think it's like sized. And when I say sized, I mean they like put something on it. They coated it in something to make it so that the paper is conditioned to handle ink application so that it's not going to be compromised by the application of the ink. So the paper is going to, you know, stay unwarped. So the paper fibers are not going to absorb the ink as much. I mean, it's going to happen. It's still paper. Okay, this T is a little wonky here. We got something going on. Why can't I control you, tip? Why can I not control my tip better? How we doing? Let's see here. Okay. All right. You were little. I didn't make you long enough, T. I didn't make the T. We're gonna be here like all day. I gotta really control that. I gotta really control that. I must control that. Okay. Let's do the S now. That's my baseline, right? That's my baseline. Okay. We have a ball, and I always say don't make a ball with a brush pen, and here I am making balls all over the place today with my brush pen. I'm not supposed to do that. That's what I say not to do. It's not for balls. Yet here we are. I'm literally doing it. I'm literally doing it just to put myself through it, through the paces here. That's what I'm doing. Putting myself through. Oh, gotta take the glasses off again. Ooh, can I get close enough? glasses back on. Okay, let's I'm gonna turn my mic off for a while. If there's any chat, I will turn it back on and we can chat. Okay. I'm just talking to myself, like it's not that exciting. So, or I would be. So that way we'll just take away that white noise aspect. Okay. Just an observation. The letters in Leslie's, from what I can tell, look like little, based on sticks, perhaps? Based on, they look like an organic twig or something. I can't really, you know, I don't really know, but I know that they look like something resembling a twig. I'm also thinking, just thinking out loud, isn't it interesting how there are some really controversial aspects of people's lives that I've been doing over the past couple of months here in the biography and draw sessions here. I don't really have a name for them yet. I mean, feel free to suggest one. I don't have a catchy title, except, you know, copy and draw. Or I thought art history would be a cute title, but that's not very apt. You know, sometimes catchy titles are not good because they're not succinct. They don't mean what they sound like. I mean, it is art history, but it's like not art history. It's, I mean, I think it's a cute play on words, but that's not gonna work. So anyway, if you have a good title for me, let me know. But I find it very interesting, back to my main point, I find it very interesting how, all right, I like how that lettering's coming up. I mean, we'll see how the rest goes. I find it very interesting how there are aspects to like the wife died and the husband got remarried, or vice versa. Like whatever the situation with that. But you see that a lot with a lot of these people, and you don't see the like full story because it was never, you know, they never investigated it, or it was swept under the rug or whatever. But it's history, right? We're reading history about it. And then you dig up history that's history about it that is conflicting, like we did today with Frank Leslie's wife, Miriam. No, not Miriam. It was the second wife. I think Miriam was Miriam the first wife or the second wife? Anyway, have to go back and watch to remember. But, and how in that piece, in that book, they did not talk about her first husband at all. They replaced his role, right? The character in that story is replaced by an unnamed woman that she was kind enough to, you know, take over her job and give her the money because she was ill. So strange. And then they say in that book, that Women of the 20th Century book, or whatever it's called, the one that I was reading from, that I will put the link in the description later. I found that book fascinating. They wrote that her first husband died of his illness, and Wikipedia did not say the same thing. Wikipedia did not say that. So I have all kinds of questions about this story of the story of Frank Leslie's second wife and that whole situation. And someone needs to make a YouTube video expose on Frank Leslie, his second wife, how his first marriage broke up, how his second marriage came to be. Because it is like shadier than... Ooh, do you hear my stomach rumbling? I hope you don't, but I think you probably do. That mic picks up a lot. It's just like so shade. Like, what is going on, Frank? And like, is there even... There's more to the story. I don't even need to question that, right? There's more to that story. Come on now. We know this. We know there's more. I'm going to do Volume 9, 1860 first here, because that's what I want to do. Because I want to. Because I'm going to just like do this little measury thing here. Oh, hold on. Let me turn you so you can see better. Okay, so now we're only working on this piece of the paper so we can take up more real estate on the screen. I'm just trying to get... Sorry, my stomach is going berserk. If you can hear it, you probably can, and I apologize. And if you haven't liked this video yet, please like. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Have I ever designed any fonts for digital use? Megan, great question. The answer is... I designed one font for myself, and that was it. I like getting in the nitty gritty, in the dirt with these, with lettering. But me and design, and I was a designer for 17 and a half years at a newspaper company, like doing design and illustration. So I know, okay, the short story is no. Not for sale or anything. I did one. That's something that I've always kind of thought I would want to do on a creative aspect. On the technical aspect, I think it would probably be a challenge that I don't want to undertake, just because the technical aspects of that are not going to play well for my the way that I like to work and like what I think I'm best at. I like where I want to put my energy. That's probably the best way I have ever articulated that before, and I don't even know how good that was, but yes, the desire and the interest in designing them is there for me, the creative part. But the technical aspects are just... My whole point with rehashing my design experience is I did design like professionally for 20 years, and design is a part of my artwork and of my, like, it's a part of who I am as an artist. Like, you cannot extricate one from the other pretty much. However, and I only say all that to say the however part, because it is design in and of itself. I respect a lot. And I respect it enough to know that I am not somebody who is, that is not my best skill set. I'm a, what's the word I'm looking for? As a designer alone. As a designer alone, I'm serviceable. Design in my art is a different story to me. Like that's, you know, in that way I am confident. And I mean, I'm confident in my design skills. Okay. I'm not, it's not what I alone. I just don't think it's enough to keep me. It's enough to deter me. Knowing the technical aspects of the design stuff involved with designing fonts, like designing fonts well. I have a great respect for that, and I wouldn't want to. I just never even thought it possible to design like something that didn't have like all the little pieces that you need. Like I just don't even think about it, you know, about half-assing the parts that I'm not interested in, like bleeding over. So I haven't done it. I have designed one font just for fun, like you know, I don't even know if it wasn't even like a full font set or anything. It was just a goof. But no, I'm a lettering. I do lettering, and I also get kind of bored. I think. How am I liking this? I don't know if I have the patience and I do have the technical detail, but the prolonged like attention and care and like nurturing of like that aspect of it long over a project like that is very intimidating and does not sound like something that plays to my best, like where I shine, you know what I mean? So that is why thank you for the question though, because you're helping me to articulate why I have been asked that question before, and I think I never really knew how to answer it, but I think I know now. I think what I just said to you and to anybody listening here, that is it. And that's it. That's another like interesting I've thought about, and I have never taken a class in creating a font, which you know is a thought bubble for sure, but I have not done that. But I do a lot of, you know, custom. If you look at my Etsy store, I have lettering. All that lettering is just illustrations. So not just, you know what I'm saying. All those letterings are illustrations. I don't use fonts in my artwork. I don't use pre-existing fonts. I like to illustrate my lettering. As you know, probably already, as you already know. What is going on? Okay, so volume 9, 1860, there's this, there are like flourishes that are attached to the letter forms, and they are coming out of the bottom. And it's probably hard to see on the screen. If you were to zoom in to this screen that you're looking at right now, I don't even know if you can see it. I don't have the link to that picture in there yet, but, and I don't even know that I want to do that here, because I think it might be like a bridge too far right now. I already have a lot of ink on here, and I really just a second ago talking to you, like really fully grasped that there is this like little flourish on the bottom, like a little curlicue flourish thing. I just think that it's just gonna look like mud with my, I think it's just gonna look muddy with my brush pen, so I'm not gonna put it in, but it's there. And I'm gonna have to turn this because I'm not getting what I want here, the angle. Oh, whoops. Okay, I gotta take the glasses off again and put my face. Let me move the mic, sorry guys. There we go. I love font design though. Oh my gosh, I love fonts. And yeah, I have definitely thought about doing it, but I just haven't, because I'm like, oh god, I think that would just make me nuts. I think all the little ligatures and everything and the technical aspect just makes me think that I would get hives from it or something, you know? It would break me out in hives, potentially. Or potentially I could love it. But will we ever know? Okay. O and L are lower, are shorter. I'm going to actually try and get a better curve on my 9 here. I think we'll be here till like 2 in the afternoon at this point. What's going on here? That's going to be boring for you guys. I just want a clean curve here. Is my face all on the screen? Okay, glasses back on. Okay. All right. Apologies. Apologies. I can try to turn the light up a little bit there. Okay. This is like, it's very strange that the L and the O are, why can't my eyes be like, I want like a special button I can press for my site so I can just like change my vision, you know, at will. I don't have a high res enough picture to see what's going on this edge of this L, but there's something going on there that I can't see. So I'm just going to leave that like that. And let's go into the O. Let's do the... Oh. Oof. That makes me crazy. Okay, I might be getting a little messy here because I'm tired, I think. Why did I pick this one again? Did I tell you why? Because I'm forgetting. But I'm really having a hard time seeing the details because I don't have a high res. Or shall I say, I don't have a high enough res image here. So, and this is really, this is not a faithful adaptation because I cut out a lot of this artwork. Not cut it out. I eliminated from mine a lot of the art. I'm gonna just do this little, there's like a little tail on each of these, like that. And there's art attached, there's like stuff, like dimensional things attached to the letters, but I'm not doing the whole, all this stuff. Okay, Megan. Have I ever designed any fonts? Answered that one. Honestly, it's never boring. I like having your life going while I'm doing stuff myself. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's all I've ever wanted, is to be, for other people to find me sort of entertaining of the thoughts in my head and what comes out of my mouth when I'm doing my artwork. That's why I started this. I'm like, I wonder if other people get into these little granular things like I do. Do they care? Are there's gotta be people like me out there who appreciate the rolling around of these crazy creative work thoughts and ideas, right? And there are, and it's Megan Kelly. Feels like I'm hanging out. Well, you are hanging out with a fellow creative friend. You totally are. Oh my gosh. Yes. Yes, you are. We are hanging out. New York, published by Frank. Okay, you guys can't see this, but I'm going to write this in on the bottom. And I'm not going to use my brush pen because I've taken enough abuse from my brush pen today. I'm going to do it with, do I want to do it with my Posca? And I know I still have a long way to go. I know I still have to do this. My Posca is actually going to give me what I want, which is, it's not going to give me trouble. But I want to write it. I want to write it. I'm going to do it. I don't even know if this is going to work. Oh God. I really can't. I don't want to destroy this. Hold on a second. I think I need to work on this space. I think I need to... Why am I adding? I'm adding more to this now. I'm like, oh, I'm going to already be here till 3. Why am I deciding to add more? Why? Why am I torturing myself? All right. Let's... Okay. I'm talking myself off the cliff here. I'm just going to draw the newspaper part now. And then if I want to, when we're done with that, sure, have at it. I'll go in with that bottom line. But for the moment, I just want to finish this. And I'm not doing... I got to get some water, guys. Sorry, hold on one second. My throat is bananas. Excuse me. Oh my God, I needed that. Okay. Okay. We're going to do this. We're going to do newspaper now. And it's going to be really unconventional. Because I'm not doing all this little detail-y, swoopy stuff. I mean, I'm going to do detailed, swoopy stuff, but I'm going to just like, I'm going to go in with my pen in a way that like Frank would probably not, I don't know if he would like it. I mean, let's just be honest here. We got to be honest. I don't know if Frank's going to like what I'm going to do. Okay, I'm just absorbing what I'm doing here. I'm just, I'm going to stand up. I'm going to stand up. It's time to stand up. We're at that time with the portion of the program where I'm standing. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. I'm going to stand up. And okay, let's just do it. We're just going in here. Sorry, Frank. Sorry, Frank. Would Frank approve? Okay. In the interest of correcting everything here, I'm working on a bunch of parts of this at once. Okay, I'm gonna turn this. I'm just looking for the best angle to get my swoops in here. Okay, so this is actually a really good example of my level of agitation that I feel like I would be putting myself through if I designed fonts. Trying to do Frank's cover. Is a little crazy making. It's a little crazy making. outside. There's definitely some action happening. What's happening with all this here? Okay, that works. That works. Okay, then we got another one here. Okay, what are we doing here? What is going on here? What's left? Okay. Now I'm just getting into I'm just adding in parts where I want to, really. Where I want to. Not what Frank told me to do. What I want to do. Okay, now I'm going to put the bottom part in. Because do you see the letters? You see the word illustrated. The word illustrated has dimension. I'm now questioning whether I should do the dimension or not. I'm not going to. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to use my Food in a Souk, half dried out Tombow Food in a Souk. Soft. It's called soft brush, but it's really not a brush at all. It's like a tip. See? Half dried out. I'm going to do the lettering at the bottom. Right here. New York. Published by Frank Leslie, 19 City Hall Square. Let's just space it out a little bit here. And my voice is like totally gone. Now, if I do, I'm just trying to space out my words here. Before I do that, I'm just gonna even out my bottom. Okay, I'm just gonna do it in my brush pen. I lied. I'm gonna use my brush pen for this. I've gone rogue. I have gone rogue. 100%. And let's do this, shall we? New York. I'm going to start over here, actually. I'm going to start over here. I'm just going to... I'll try and move it to make sure you can see everything that I'm going to draw. Because I've got to make some room for my left hand. Let's move stuff. over here. Right. Let's do this there. We're just going to start over here because and I'm just following Frank's lead here. Published. By Frank Leslie. "19 City Hall Square." Let's see if we can fit that in here. 1, 9. We'll do it small. And then we'll do C, I, D. Hall. S, Q. How's that? Evenish. I think we could fit square in. I don't think I need to save room. How's that? Let's make New York a little bit stronger, just to balance it out. And let's add some flourish at the top, shall we? Frank, we're going in. What do you think? What would Frank Leslie say? We're going to turn this because I want to try and get it sort of, you know. All right, cool. And then we're gonna just go like this. I'm just going rogue. Just going rogue. And I think we can add like a flourish here. And then we'll do the same thing over here-ish. Got that weird little tail thing happening there. Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, Frank. Frank. We went in and we did it. All right, cool. That's cool. I'm good on this. Okay, we're good. We're done. We're done. Oh, okay. We're done. Hold on. We're gonna get a zoom out. And we're gonna see what we got here. Move my coffee cup out of the way so it doesn't interfere with the shadow. We don't want the shadow. Okay. Let's see. Where are we? How we doing? Thoughts? Prayers? Let me know what you think. I like it. I like it. This is like a me and Frank collab. This is a Kathy Frank collab. Awesome. Dunzo. And I'm gonna do that because the shadow from my iPhone is just like not happening here. Let me turn the light up. Let's do that. Okay, cool. Hey, thanks for being here today. Hope you like it. Oh, thanks, Megan. I really appreciate it. I love it. Thank you so much. Like it. You like it a lot. I appreciate you for hanging out with me today. Thanks. I'd love to know what you're working on, but I don't want to ask you too many questions. I don't want to put too much pressure. Asking questions when it's really, we need to go, right? We need to go. But feel free to tell me what you're working on if you want to. I'm just going to add a couple finishing touches to this real quick. So I decided to not do the dimension to the letters because this is already really detailed and I didn't want to torture myself. I'm kidding, partially. What I mean is, this is really detailed and it's a little hard to do it without having my face like a centimeter from my paper. And that is hard to do when I'm streaming. So, in Gunmetal and Pearl, she's crocheting a blanket for your son. Oh my gosh, that's awesome. You crochet too? You're multi-talented. Ooh, Gunmetal and Pearl. I love that. Great combo. Gunmetal. That's a beautiful color. I love a gray. You bought the pattern off Etsy. Awesome. Feel free to shout out the maker. It sounds fabulous. Oh my gosh, I love that. I love handmade crochet. I don't crochet myself, but my sister does, and I have stuff that she's made for me. I love it. Okay. All right. I gotta... Why will I not cap my pen? So, yeah. We're good. I'm gonna hang this up and I will see you tomorrow. I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for coming, Megan. Thanks for chatting with me. And anyone who is watching or who's going to watch on the replay, I will put timestamps of where the art starts. So if you don't want to slog through the bio, which I kind of hope you do slog through the bio, because the bio is kind of fascinating. But you do you, and if you don't want to, I totally get it. It was tiring. It was a lot. Megan Makes Do is the seller. Awesome. Mabel blanket. I'm gonna check it out. Send it to my sister. I never took up crochet. I love crochet though. Crochet is so nice and cozy. Or knitting for that matter. Yeah, interesting story. Kind of some weird controversial stuff going on that the Wikipedia doesn't always tell us, but when we dig a little bit, we learn stuff, and we learned stuff today. So that's kind of fun and weird. So, all right, I'm gonna hang it up. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. And who will be the person tomorrow? Hold on. Megan, isn't it funny that the seller that you bought from spells their name the same way that you do? I love that. Because there's different ways to spell your name. It's kind of cool that Megan Makes Do spells her name the way you do. I love that. That's serendipity, right? Let's see, who's tomorrow? Tomorrow we got... Tomorrow's Winslow Homer. Oh boy, that's going to be one. That's going to be a big one. Gosh, this week has just been... This week has been very heavy. Lots of big names, you know? All right. I'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy your day, and see you tomorrow at 10 a.m. Bye. Bye, Megan.